Right. To the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right, three. I think, at this juncture, we have everyone here that.
Yeah.
And so item 4, acceptance of the minutes for the regular meeting held on January 20th.
So move.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 5, public comments. We have the public, okay. Item 6, union business, I take it none, okay. Item 7, presentation of police chief's monthly report.
I'll defer my comments on the promotion till we get through the list. Should be on the agenda. Just overall, some operational things with overtime. Admin OT was up a little bit this month. The academy is a big driver on it. Although we don't pay for the academy, you have to pay the extra hours because the municipal academies actually have to pay their recruits to be there during the PT and the add-on hours. Unlike the host, it's residential, so they're all there. We have seen a slight decrease overall in our patrol overtime as we've slowly spun up closer to full strength. Some other cost drivers, FOI requests, body cams, payroll export, DOT coordinator, which is contractual. We're getting ready for another gun destruction. Hopefully removing about 40-ish to 50 seized firearms for destruction. We are, said we're trending in the right direction, but we still have about 2 officers out on workers' comp and 3, I believe, on FMLA. So hopefully we'll get those officers back soon. Most of them are actually specialized positions, so it doesn't affect staffing levels that much right now. Anyway, I have no questions on the stats or anything else for this month, but we were able to get those signs up last month on General Pulaski Way at the request of the Polish American Club. They're very thankful, extended their thanks to the police commission for taking care of that in a timely manner. Hasn't been any issues. The storms, surprisingly, we towed from the first large snowstorm on December 27th to the second major snowstorm, the little ones in between, a total of 75 vehicles. Of those 75 vehicles, approximately 30 were directly related to snow ban. However, of those 30, I believe it's about approximately 20 of those were long-term, unregistered, immobile, abandoned vehicles. So we got a lot of inquiries on it, but widely there was a lot of public support for it because those vehicles have been taking up curbside parking. So what I've been impressing on my officers is that, this is an opportunity for us to get rid of those abandoned vehicles that haven't been moved in 6 to 7 months. They've been unregistered. They're taking up curbside parking from the other residents whose vehicles are mobile. And, a lot of the renting properties too, they're paying to live there, but they don't necessarily have access to parking because it's on the road. So it's incumbent on our officers to make sure those vehicles that are, taking advantage of it, that are, not mobile, haven't been moved, or unregistered or abandoned, are getting off the streets and freeing up spaces for the people who are living there and do have to take care of their vehicles.
Are we able to determine the difference, whether they're abandoned or people that live there?
So usually what they're doing is they're going up and then they're running a registration status. That their first indicator is the cars have been cleared of snow. So, generally about 12 hours after the storm, we get people to clear up the vehicles. A lot of these ones have just been plowed in. They're basically frozen to the road. So what they'll do is they'll tag them, or else they run the registration, unregistered for 6 to 7 months. They're missing a tire. They caught a couple that were scrapped, but still on the road. It's a scrap title. They're like, how is this even still out here? It shouldn't even be there. So, a few little kinks with working with our tow companies too. They were a little caught off guard by the uptick, but the officers really embraced it. They seemed to understand what they were out there doing. Overall, really only two, I call them complaints. One of them was a vehicle that had been in place for 8 months. The owner was disabled. We offered to have our social workers work with the owner to get the vehicle registered and everything else. But we're like, it can't be there anymore. We didn't get any follow-up on that, but, so it overall worked out well. It's just been about eight years since we've had any major snowfall, so we've kind of had to dust off our operations plans for dealing with our snowfall, but working well with DPW, targeting some of the problem areas to get snow cleared and everything else. So it's been a good exercise for all the different shifts to work together and tackle some problems.
Anything else for the chief?
Just a quick question, has there been any discussions or thoughts of, traffic cams in Naugatuck?
So there is a process for that. So there's two types. There's the traffic light cameras and there's the speed cameras. So at this point, we haven't seen much interest in the speed cameras. They are regulated by the state. So it will be an application process through DOT. As of right now, I spoke to the mayor about it. There hasn't been a tremendous amount of interest. We are in the process of renegotiating our Axon contract, which we hope to have online before January 2027. In that package, there will be approximately 20 pole cameras or fixed cameras, which are LPR cameras. Those are the ones that we really are invested in because they allow us to look back and see track vehicles for movements for investigations. So my priority has been the LPR fixed location cameras because those have helped us in investigations. They saw the bank robbery, at least one, if not two shootings. So we have approximately 10 of those now from another vendor, Recore, but they have to get hardwired into the utility poles, and Eversource has clamped down on their restrictions for allowing additional installation of those cameras. But the Axon ones are freestanding and they are as much of a rollout and application process. So we're looking to phase out the 10 to 15 and have 20 Axon LPR cameras. So answer your question, no, not for speed and not for traffic lights, but yes, I'm building out our LPR camera system. So yes, it's not a revenue driver, but that's something the borough wants to look at. We could give a good look at it. I mean, it's been good for the municipalities, but I think it's more of a community conversation whether or not people want to look at it. I mean, being a Middletown, I think they're at like 3 million in revenue for their 2 or 3 cameras. I know Wookett, I believe, is going live with them. Winstead is online with them. A couple other municipalities. Yeah, no. So, no, they do. Yeah. So, they are coming out more, but I don't know if it's right for Naugatuck. I mean, if that's something we would explore, we could definitely.
Just a question.
A few months ago, I remember we did a walk study over there by the old 7-Eleven, the extension. I did get some feedback from that. Did you receive?
Yes. So we made some comments on that and the superintendent was gonna collect ours as well, put in that document and send it back. So through the Naugatuck Council, we are waiting for the final report now. I think the end reporting was, I believe, around this time this month.
Right.
And then we should have determination as to whether or not we'll qualify for funding to put those sidewalks in.
And I know they were different. They were like temporary things that we could do. And I think one was like bicycle lane, and this is by what's the name of that complex?
South 133.
Yeah, across from Tuck's Tavern where it used to be. As kids are walking down, unfortunately, there's no sidewalk or anything, so a teacher had brought it to my attention. I brought it to the chief, and then we had the station.
Well, they're workers. I don't think
There are a good number because actually when we met with the superintendent, she brought to our attention a large number of locations that walkers are going to the school and
So those are legit walkers that have no bus pickup and
Yeah.
there's no sidewalks?
yeah,
I mean, that's a safety concern.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that was the whole point. It is a-
So they shouldn't be relying on sidewalks that aren't there. They should actually have buses keeping those kids off the road.
I think the issue seems to be with students who are staying for extracurricular activities or commissioner's case, athletes
Exactly.
after hours. So
Okay.
we're trying to find accommodation, so we should have a study completed by spring, but obviously DPW can't do anything until spring, and they were amenable, they could do some of the work themselves. So it's not as much the funding is an issue, it's just they would prefer grants that get subcontracted out. But we were looking at maybe widening the fog lane a little bit, pushing it into the road more, so there would be a bigger shoulder for students to walk on. But we're probably gonna have to address that in the spring, depending on whether, what the funding looks like, whether they could do it in the short term. So, we're definitely tracking it. Superintendent's been really, on board with a lot of these little ancillary issues that we brought forward. Try to tackle it.
Does the school provide activity buses like after?
No,
So
what they do
you
provide,
see where I'm going here?
what
Good venues, but not homes.
well, but they have like they did, I don't know, but they started it again, but last year they had like 2 days a week, Tuesday and Thursday at 4 o'clock. They would have a bus that would bring kids home from the school, depending on what kind of activity they're in. So I would write a pass for our kids who needed to ride back home, but it was only 2 days a week,
Yeah.
right? You know,
So this sounds like something to address with the school, right? Because they're only doing it 2 days a week, but their sports 4 or 5 days a week, right?
and it's not just sports, mind you.
And it's not just sports, it's academics. I mean, I remember when I was in high school,
Right.
there, besides the normal dismissal buses, there were they were called activity buses. So there was an activity bus that ran at like 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, whatever it was the after school activity. Now, you had the option of taking that or finding your own ride home or walking, but if the school's not providing that, then it really ends up being on the parents having to do it, right? And so I think the school needs to get involved with this, at some point. I mean, it should,
And
is
they
it
are,
on the borough to have to spend the money to widen streets, when the school itself isn't providing the transportation for activities that they support? I'm not sure
and I don't know.
what we can do there.
Yeah, but I think it's not just about the school, because, I mean, I did the walk study as well. And just to walk from the high school, and again, it's not just about, just to walk from the high school on that sidewalk to Stop and Shop. There an inordinate amount of traffic just walking back and forth, so it's not just exclusive to the school.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's a safety thing throughout, so, but to your point, I agree, because I brought that up as well. I said,
Do we have
we
a lot
have,
of other pedestrian traffic other than students?
yes,
Okay.
oh, yeah,
Alright.
oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it's after hours too. A lot of the students don't necessarily, or that age group doesn't have access to vehicles, so they are walking regardless. So the long-term solution is gonna be putting in pedestrian access. And just, the other thing too, while I'm mentioning something we're working the BOE with is our, outreach event on, vape products.
Mhm.
So I believe it's March 2nd or 3rd. I'll double check that. I want to get the invitation out to all of you as well too. So we plan on the Attorney General there, the Commissioner's gonna be there, State's Attorney, Department of Public Health, and we're all talking about a lot of the issues they're having. Some of the conversations I have with the superintendent is, approximately 40 to 50% of their disciplinary is coming from vape use, from tobacco as well as THC vape cartridges. So it's a huge discipline driver in the school system. So we're looking at maybe working with the state to further regulate some of the smoke shops that are giving access to these products to students that are then coming into the schools and driving up a lot of the discipline that they're having to give for the school system. Also, we just did a large vape enforcement, smoke shop enforcement last week. Good news is there was only one violation. Normally we see usually violations at almost every store that we check. So
How many stores? Sorry.
It's approximately 5 or 6. I think they
Okay.
generally target just the smoke shops. But it's a whole subgenre because some of the products they sell aren't legal for Connecticut, but they're legal to buy, and then they bring them in. So we usually have to go through with consumer protection and check what's authorized and what isn't. But this was the first time we didn't have any major seizures or, major enforcement. It was just one infraction. So, we are working on it. It's something kind of we brought forward with the BOE of what their biggest concern is. So, we definitely want to work with them and see what we could do as far as reducing the number of students who are having access to that.
And the event that you mentioned pertaining to vaping, you said it's March 2nd.
I believe it's March 2nd.
Is it at the high
It'll
school?
be at the high school.
And what's the name of it? Is it
It is, I believe it's a forum on
vaping?
smoke shops and vaping.
Okay.
So
And I take it it's in the evening.
it will be in the evening, yeah, 6 to 7:30, and we're the first community to host it. We're kind of a dry run right now for Department of Public Health, Department of Consumer Protection, and the Commissioner's Office for Department of Public Safety. So they wanted to roll it out with us. They found us to be a good partner. So we'll try it, and hopefully this curriculum or this type of forum will be used across the state.
And who's the audience? Who's the target audience?
Students, parents, community members.
Okay. Anything?
What's the clean state notification?
So the clean slate notification is, we're up to, I believe it's 1900. Did we get, is that in here, Katie, that,
I've sent it out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've finished the thing.
so I believe we're at 1900 clean slate requests. So they passed a public act about 2 years ago that requires us to go back and complete statutory, basically erasures of all qualifying statutes. Most of them stem from marijuana arrests. We're at about 1900 of them. So proud to say we're at 100% compliance. I sent you guys out the sheet that showed we're one of probably only about a dozen or so departments that are at that level, but we get them in from criminal justice, and we have to go through and they have to process each of them. So that ties into a lot of what we're doing, the purging of our records that we don't need to retain anymore. So the Bureaus and Records have been doing an awesome job with it, keeping up with it. So this is the admin stuff I'm talking about every month when it's like, this is what's driving us because we have to comply with that. It's basically a court order. So although we've done most of them, we still get a few here or there, but 1900 records within 6 months was a lot. I mean, you see some of the municipalities wondering a dozen.
Anything else for the chief? Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the chief's monthly reports.
I'll say it.
Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. We'll move to correspondence. I'll start, I guess. So I have a correspondence here on about received a thank you note to the Norfolk Police Department. Good morning program. A heartfelt thank you to all who helped and supported Rose and Philip Young, who Young, both past and present. You will never know how much your continued encouragement meant to them both. Rose passed 1/13/26. The morning calls made Rose feel like she mattered, and the simple conversations were measured for more than you could ever imagine. A great service, forever grateful. Debbie Corso and the officers that were involved was Danielle Purnell, Valerie Dunn, Michael Damaris, Mark Robinson, Emilio Bonilla, and Catherine Developis. Is that correct? Developis, okay. And lastly, this is a testament to our dispatchers and the effect the Good Morning Normative program has on our seniors. I didn't realize we even had a Normative morning program.
Very, very popular. Small
Yeah.
group, yeah.
Like wellness, morning
Oh,
wellness.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
They love them. We just gave the women
Yeah, flowers.
flowers for Valentine's Day.
Got a recommendation for commendation for Lieutenant Bailey. On February 13th, 2026, Detective John Williams received the following letter of appreciation from Kelly Lestage, President of Tri-Valley Chair, in recognition of his work on a nearly long embezzlement investigation involving the financial loss of in excess of $20,000. The investigation required extensive financial analysis and multiple search warrants executions, ultimately resulting in an arrest. They went on to say that they sincerely thank Detective Williams for his time, professionalism, and dedication throughout the investigation involving the Tri-Valley Share investigation. On behalf of their board of directors, athletes, and families, they again want to thank him for his professionalism and support. It's from Kelly Lestage, President of Tri-Valley Share.
I have a recommendation for commendation for officers Colin Larry and Officer Jeff Lewis. There's a letter that was received January 16th to the chief. It says that on January 3rd, we were at a funeral procession for my mother. We had a large group of cars traveling from St. Francis to Calvary Cemetery in Waterbury. This would have been very challenging without the help of the officers. The two patrol cars kept us together in line, which is particularly helpful with people not familiar with the area. More importantly, your staff kept us and the community, both Naugatuck and Waterbury, safe. Thank you for your assistance and fine work. And this is from the family of Flavia Sullivan.
Thank you.
I've got an email, February 7th from Bill Allison, President of the Dominion City Polish American Club, thanking the chief for his quick action on getting the signs up around the Polish American Club, which we discussed earlier.
Right. Okay. Thank you. All right, I believe that's all the correspondence. Item 9, public comments. I think that's us. Item 10, we have no open items. Item 11, discussion possible action on the land use application for 229 City Hill Street, Naugatuck, Connecticut, the purpose of removing 100,000 cubic yards of material for the construction of a single family home.
Didn't we approve that already?
I feel like we have been on City Hill Street.
The,
I don't know if it's this
I
one.
think
I'm
it's
gonna look
for,
up the address.
just for the removing
Right.
of the material.
Yeah, this one, I think is a different address.
Yeah.
Right, I don't recognize the name, but
I think it's the same one thing across the church there, 229. I researched this.
Doesn't seem like it's anything significant, so we have no issue.
yeah, I mean, the only thing would be issue with sightlines, it's a lot of trucks. I mean, I can't even
I think
guess
the
how
truck-
many dump trucks is 1,000 cubic yards.
And they're gonna have to be loaded on the street. Cause there's no access into that lot.
Well, they'd have to create that, I'm guessing, how over time, right? I don't know a lot, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it's gotta get done, I think, right, and the chief, if the chief doesn't feel that there's any kind of an issue, then that's fine, I don't see anything.
Traffic, we could address from there.
Oh, that's right across the street from the church.
1250.
Yeah, I mean, the sightlines there are pretty good.
1250 tri-axles.
That's it, 50? Okay. So I would, make a motion that we accept the, land use application for 229 City Hill Street. For purpose of removing 1,000 cubic yards of earth material. For construction of a facility.
Let me get a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 12, discussion possible action regarding the promotional list for rank sergeant. Yeah, here.
So first on the list was now Sergeant Jeff Lewis, he was promoted earlier today. He's number one on the overall process. We anticipate 2 candidates off of this list. The second will be Officer Nick Lavoy, likely with the retirement of Lieutenant Danielle Bailey at the end of this year.
All right, they can follow in that order.
You stand. So,
Okay, that's for item 12. We're gonna get a motion.
Do we need that?
Yeah, you need
Okay,
to.
all right, so I'll make a motion that we accept the promotional list for the rank sergeant.
I'll say,
Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Carried. Item 13, discussion possible action regarding the promotional list for the promotion of executive.
I didn't realize we had that. I thought detective, everybody in the DB was, it was an appointed assignment.
We now test for the appointment, so it's been about, I'd say about 9 years now.
Okay,
Go general topic if you can.
So this is the only test too that I have a pick of 3 over, so, with Sergeant Lewis being promoted, we went with the number 2 candidate, which is Scott Kleineck, so he'll be moving up there effective March 2nd. Likely again to have 2 off this list, so Officer Joe Bleddy will be next up on that list, and he's also a strong candidate, so.
will this be a live list for the
1
future?
year, yeah, from 1 year from when you guys ratified tonight.
so the people that have been assigned into the DB, were they like a rotational thing? Were they on the list, or is that a different situation?
Some have the option of taking the test, most will, but that like 3-month rotation that they do is just. They sign up for it and they'll take them in.
So that's outside of testing. So basically that's just, hey, here, that this 3-month rotation is show you what it's like.
Yes.
If you want to test, then
Yeah.
okay, that was just my misunderstanding.
How many positions are open for detectives?
One immediate one from the retirement of Detective Slavin. Second one would be likely retirement of Detective Nutella at the end of this year.
So Officer Lewis both was promoted to sergeant and detective? So
Yep, he came out strongly and with us. Yeah.
good for him.
No, he didn't get promoted to sergeant and detective.
Just started.
He got promoted to sergeant.
And he was about the second guy that took that.
Oh, so he got sergeant and Kleineck got detective. Oh, so he doesn't become a detective
Yeah,
sergeant?
yeah,
No,
correct.
Okay.
Good catch, Caleb.
Yeah,
Thanks. I missed that.
Okay.
I didn't hear the name.
No.
Oh, that's why
Yeah, we have a vacancy for one detective sergeant. I plan to fill that in the next month or 2, from one of the current guys.
okay. Gotcha, thanks.
So this list is good for a year.
So we need to make a motion on.
Yeah, so I'll make a motion to accept the promotional list for the business shooter detective.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? That motion carries. All right, comments from the commissioners.
E. It seemed to be a quiet month. There hasn't been a lot of stuff, which is a good thing, I think, for us. All around, keep up the good work. I look forward to contacting you, to reach out to start setting up some ride along stuff. That's my schedule starts to clear up. I don't know, if it's now I'll wait till the better weather, does it matter?
Now it's pretty good to
Yeah, I'll give you a holler.
more manageable.
Do you want me to reach out to you?
Yeah, you can just set up with me and find someone that works. Because once it gets warmer out, we're gonna have the 6 recruits on the road, so it's gonna be hard to get into the hour.
Okay.
The tentative graduation is July 11th, but
Waterbury?
we did do some entry levels too, interviews, so we have, we're right around, I mean, we're at 63 on the roster. that fills our impending retirements, so. I may have allowed, you can see with the resignation of Officer Bennett, but this will. I have put in for 2 additional officers in our budget, so from 61 to 63. So, you know, my position's been, we've been funding additional positions with what we hire preemptively, so it would just make sense the borough actually fund the position since there's been a practice for about a decade. So, I think preliminary conversations, everyone understands what we're trying to do.
And it makes backfilling a lot easier.
We're not scrambling, because once we're at our authorized strength, it's, you always have 3 out, and then we're at like, that's when the overtime. is
We're going some FMLA, whatever happened.
Yeah.
Commissioner House.
I'm good, thank you.
I just want to thank the department for supporting our track stars. They had a successful championship, and they met us at the Ion Bank and brought them home the glory. So the kids were very appreciative of that. I thank you guys as well for always supporting that effort. Other than that, I think we're good at the station, all right? So with that said, we need to make a motion, go to executive session, inviting. And can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
I,
All opposed? Hearing none? And the time is.
7:32.
But just follow my lines, yeah. Not if it's executive session. I'm just not positive.
Yes. Yeah. You're right. Okay, so item 16, adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn
7:35.
at 7:35.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
I
All opposed? Motion granted.
I need a motion.
I need a motion, Pedro, second.
So,
What was Lewis, he wasn't disciplined, he was just informally confident.
is a written